Wait, hold on, what? No, that's not possible. Yako was dead on the floor and Yomi was still there.
Why is Fuzzhead here?
Chief Yako was the only person attacked by the hitman in the lab. In other words, the chief was the hitman's target.
Like I initially thought.
But Chief Yako tried to hide that photo by tossing it behind the houseplant. He hid it knowing it'd be an important clue.
Oh, so Yako didn't want us to uncover the truth.
And that's because
he hid it.
The person in the photo is Chief Yako himself.
Right.
It was given to the hitman so he'd know his target. And the chief tried to conceal it. Which means the blood covering the face on the photo was likely done on purpose.
Which I thought. He was doing it to obscure his identity so we wouldn't be able to discern him in the photograph.
Are you serious?
I didn't think that was
You're
coincidental.
Really saying Fuzzhead is the culprit? Really? I don't buy it. You think he actually put together this elaborate murder? He's knocking on death's door just for this?
So the real question is why did the hitman stab him? Did Yako himself request the hit on himself?
I don't want to believe it either.
Yako would have died of the gas.
Don't forget
without the stab wound. Battle with Vivia. Why did Yako send the death threat? To make it seem like the doctor was in danger. The anemic vampire is going to throw questions at you back to back. Press the correct button when you think you've got the correct answer. You'll take damage if you avoid all assailing assaults. Okay. Why is Vivia still trying to keep me from this truth, though?
The phantom vanished.
So now my only...
The truth has been mostly exposed. And the labyrinth...
Yeah, my only opposition is Vivia now.
Longer.
Why does Vivia not want this truth exposed,
Anything
though?
I do now might not matter.
It's obvious that Vivia is trying to preserve the state of the world, but why?
Anyway.
He's trying to keep us from the truth.
It's something I must do. While the chief takes
And he's
his
acting
final
as Yako,
breath.
as his defender, for sure.
Vivia.
Yuma. If Chief Yako is the culprit, then what about that death threat?
Dr. Huesca must pay for his sins with his life. My blade shall be his atonement.
Why would the chief send it? If he was the killer.
Well, we know the hitman didn't send it because it's not in his modus operandi. We know that. Why did he send the death threat?
By sending that note, everyone would believe the doctor's life was in danger.
I thought there would be more buttons than just why. I thought it was like waiting on Vivia to get closer to me for dramatic effect, which is why I waited.
Detectives headed to the secret lab because of that note. Chief Yako brought them here to take advantage of their abilities.
That's what I thought.
Murder the doctor.
That's what I thought.
Huh?
We needed Vivia to be able to get certain things from the lab. We needed Vivia's forte to be able to access the room where the map was initially held. That's where Yako obtained the map from. They needed Fubuki's forte to be able to bypass the electric grid.
But the death threat wasn't sent just to the detectives. The peacekeepers received it too. What was the point of that? Why put them on high alert? What is the truth behind it all?
Why was the death threat sent to the peacekeepers? These are getting faster.
The note was sent to the peacekeepers because they were also part of the plan. When the peacekeepers received the note, they dispatched a lot of their personnel to the scene. The master detectives were able to take advantage of the commotion to enter the facility. They did it by disguising themselves as peacekeepers.
It would be convenient to have a lot of peacekeepers around if you want to get into the lab disguised as one.
That's true.
This is why the peacekeepers also received the death threat.
So is the button always going to be Y? Because it's been Y both times.
Hey, you still want to do this? It's not too late to give up.
I am well aware of the danger. I haven't gotten this much exercise in a long time.
It's obvious that Vivia is fighting for the world's sake to preserve this illusion from being shattered and the reality being exposed, but why?
But this is something I must do.
Is it because he's been to both sides on account of his spectral forte? Is that why?
I can't leave the chief like this.
I don't understand. It's obvious that Vivia has like a grand plan
Let's
here,
continue,
but I don't know what the deal is.
So, everyone disguised themselves as peacekeepers and entered the lab. You were already at the lab, and that's where you met up with the chief, right?
In the room, in the meeting room.
But we decided to split up after the blackout occurred.
And that's why
Wait.
Yako said he's going to go
Blackout
dissuade the
caused commotion.
peacekeepers and make them avoid the
We leave
room.
now. The peacekeepers will see us. I knew it. This place is crawling with them.
And Yako said to wait a 3-minute interval so he could lead the peacekeepers away. That's right.
What do we do?
Because the blackout put the peacekeepers on high alert.
I'll draw their attention to buy some time.
Right.
In the meantime, you two hurry to that doctor.
The chief said he'd buy us some time, but he actually went and hid inside the airlock.
That's what I thought. He used the Amaterasu uniform to be able to slip past the
Part of the
peacekeepers.
plan. So the one who caused it, was that also the chief?
Fucking stupid. That kind of shit is bad. There's no point in it. It's bad as fuck.
The chief was with me in the security room at the time of the blackout. It's impossible for him to have caused it. So the only person it could be is the hitman. It must have been part of the job. He instructed the hitman to cause a blackout at a specific time.
That makes sense.
But why?
It made us think the doctor was in danger, so we'd go check on him. We used Amapal and
I
Fortes
forgot
to
that
get through the
Yako was
tight
with me at the
security
time the
system.
blackout occurred. He could not have tripped the blackout.
Chief Yako had it all planned out from the start. He used us to break through the security so he could kill the doctor.
Right. But what is the deal with that? What is the motive? I think it's to get the intel, the top secret intel and the research out of Amaterasu.
Amapal and the sheltered skank's time rewinding ability at the panel chamber?
But why halt the research in the first place? If he kills the doctor, that means the research can't be further conducted. But that means that the research can get out because we know it, right? Or you would expect us to know it.
That was all part
Right.
of Fuzzhead's plan?
Yes.
The only way to get past security was to use both Amapal and that Forte.
I said so myself.
Chief knew we'd figure that out.
I think it's more like he trusted us. He trusted that we would arrive at that conclusion.
I'm counting on you both. See you later.
And I said this before, at this exact point in time, I said this is the last time I believe we'll be seeing him. That's why. I know the way these games plot and pace themselves. I have a lot of history with it. This was a very big red flag that I knew something was going to go down. And that's why I thought that Yako was going to die this chapter. Because this occurred immediately after he had that change of heart and decided to get really adamant about being directly involved.
Trust? How could this be a trust thing? He was clearly taking advantage of you all.
But for the right reasons. This wasn't a deceit because he wanted to deceive us,
He
I don't
gathered
think.
the master detectives using a fake death threat, then used their fortes to commit murder. What a scumbag! He used you all to get away with murder! Out of all the criminals I've ever met, he's the worst coward of them all! Master, grab that coward and...
Enough!
Why did it have to come to this?
That's the first time I've seen Yuma yell out like that.
Chief Yako saved me. He took me in. I had lost everything. Even my memories. Sure, he may have been a little pushy at times, but still. I really admired him.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
Why?
I don't understand the motive here. That's what I want to know. What the fuck is the motive?
Why did you do it? Is this about the woman in the picture?
Which I assumed to be part of the motive, but I don't know if it's the whole motive or not.
Chief, please tell me, or
There's no point in asking. That's just a mystery.
But I want to know.
It's not the real Fuzzhead.
What is the deal here?
The phantoms are a reflection of the same people in the real world, right? Which means he should hold the same thoughts. The photo behind the houseplant. I don't know what the chief was hiding.
I don't
but
either.
That photo must have been dropped by the hitman after he was done with it.
But that woman has the same eyes as us, I
The
think.
chief picked it up and used his own blood to obscure the face. He knew the truth would be exposed.
Was the woman
if that
used in
photo was
Amaterasu's
found.
research, perhaps?
He hid it behind the potted plant.
It's evident that she was a researcher there,
He left
I
his
think.
blood on it. Almost like he wrote a dying message. But in truth, it was actually a secret he wanted to keep hidden.
Master, I think you know this, but to exit the mystery labyrinth, you will have to eliminate the culprit.
eliminate the chief?
He's gonna die anyway, isn't he?
Are you really going to do this?
Or did he use the hitman to get through the... No, he couldn't have used the hitman to get through the gas chamber. That doesn't make any sense. If he was riding atop the Amapal and there was no way to avoid the gas, then Yako was definitely subject to the gas, wasn't he? So he
After
would have
all
died
the
anyway.
mysteries are solved, the chief back in the real world will die.
He's going to die anyway.
But you saw yourself, Yuma. The chief is already knocking on death's door.
I guess that's what's to make this complicated, morally, is the chief could cling to life and perhaps have a very, very small chance of making it out alive. But we have to do the harsh critical thing
Will
here
you still
and just take him out.
bury him in the name of truth?
I think he wants us to, though. I think he's dying for the greater
Took me in
good.
When I had no memories or anyone to turn to, I trusted him from the bottom of my heart. Now I have to end his life.
You know,
Come on, dude, buck up,
I
pal.
liked it, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's cathartic in a way.
The little bit of peace and quiet I found at the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Vivia, you knew the truth behind this case from the very beginning.
So did I.
I had a hunch. Because of my spectral projection, I knew the chief had been planning something for quite some time.
So Vivia didn't trip the blackout. It was the hitman that did it. See, but that doesn't make any sense. How the fuck did Yako acquire the map from the fucking locked room in the lab? Without Vivia, that's not possible.
But I pretended not to see.
How would the hitman have had access to it? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I admired him.
Even the
And
Amaterasu
low-key
operatives
made.
didn't have access to that lab, only Yomi had the key, so how the fuck did they get the map? Even if Vivia used spectral projection, he wouldn't have been able to physically have the map, so how the fuck did Yako get it?
That's why you threatened me, and were so uncooperative in the investigation.
I knew you would reach the truth eventually.
That's a fucking plot hole if I've ever
But
seen
I
one.
tried my best to keep you away. Exposing the truth won't save anyone. Neither the chief nor you.
I'm sorry, I don't understand how the map was obtained. I know it's a very small detail, but I'm very hung up on it. How was the map
What happens to
obtained?
the other master detectives if you die here? Didn't you say you wanted to expose expose the truth and save everyone?
And get with Fubuki, and get with Halara, and get Vivia. You're right, Shinigami. We need to expose the truth. For the greater good. For the waifus.
Vivia,
For the husbandos.
you told me that the time would come when I'd have to prove my conviction. The conviction to accept the truth, no matter how cruel it may be. Now is that time, isn't it?
Yes. And yet you intend to continue. If you're prepared for it.
Hey! You better not get in Master's way again!
I don't think he
Yuma,
will.
Do you remember when the Chief's soul called out to us?
Yeah, and you were swayed from killing me?
Huh?
Are you asking if I remember your death threat? Yes.
Yeah, the truth is cruel. Never in history has the truth been known to be kind.
I kind of like the idea of an inside frenemy. It's kind of neat.
You know what?
I really
Turning
like the
your eyes away from
dynamic
the
of it.
truth,
It suits Vivia's
living a
character
lie
really
is
well.
harsh too. In the end, you can never look away from the truth. As long as you live, you must face that pain. So really, what's the point of worrying so much about it? When you're lost, believe in your own heart. That way, even if things end up all wrong, at least you can stand proud.
Well, I stand proud knowing that my reasoning throughout this chapter was fucking spotless. It was so good. The only thing I fucked up on was the reasoning deathmatch bullshit.
For my own sake. My own peace and quiet. But I could never say with confidence that I was proud of myself.
This has been a very good game.
In the end, I was just running away from everything. That's why I entrust this to you, Yuma.
And trust what?
You signed a pact with the Death God and your desire for the truth. I want to see your conviction.
Is Vivia going to tell us that he signed the same pact?
As long as you don't stray
Or
from
something?
exposing all truth, I believe you'll be able to face it, cruel as it may be.
There's gotta be something deeper with Vivia. I still don't know what it is, but I really
see
want
it
to
through
know.
to the end. It's why I followed you here. In
To
that
test my
sense,
conviction.
We're accomplices.
Okay.
If you must bring down the chief, then I will lend a hand.
Oh, this is Vivia's conviction, similar to my own, to expose the truth. Vivia's doing it from his own perspective, from his own angle.
I won't avert my eyes any longer. I, too, want to live with my head held high.
I'm more emotional when it comes to Vivia, because I relate to him a lot.
Because I, too, am a detective.
Vivia.
When you're lost,
This is
believe in
really
your own
cool to
heart.
see Vivia's arc
That way,
change
even if
from
things
somebody
end up all
completely
wrong,
tired and
least you can
unmotivated to
stand
somebody who
proud.
finds determination through tragedy.
I understand, Chief Yako. Thank you.
This is really
For
emotional.
everything you've done for me.
Holy shit, dude. This is very good. This has been an amazing chapter. The deductive reasoning shit was only really annoying due to the fucking depth perception, but the rest of this chapter has been phenomenal. And that's not a complaint about how the chapter was constructed, that's a complaint about the way the game works in terms of combat. Where's the secret lab located? Death threats sent to the detective agency and also to the peacekeepers. Where did the culprit hide? That would be the decontamination duct, but we don't have that yet. What did the culprit use to get past security? That would be the Omapal, I think. Yes, okay. Whose power was used in the panel room? That would be Fubuki's forte, but we don't have access to that either. What weapon was used to kill Dr. Huesca? The knife. I still want to understand Yako's motive here, though. Why kill the doctor? What did that accomplish? Or did he kill the doctor in efforts to save Kanai Ward, ultimately? Who killed the culprit? That would be the hitman, but we don't have the hitman yet. Who's the culprit? That would be Yako himself, but we don't have that yet. So let's take a look at what else we can apply. Where's the secret lab located? It's not going to be intercom. I don't think. It's not that. How is Dr. Huesca communicated with? Oh, this is something that I had skipped. Okay, that's my own fucking fault. I was gonna say, I really don't understand what they want me to do here, but that's my own goddamn fault. Secret lab is located within Amaterasu. Where did the culprit hide? That would be the decontamination duct. Which would be this one right here. What is this? Peacekeepers. That would be who the threat was sent to, which is back here, I believe. Right. That makes sense given the context of Yomi being there. This is going to be the hitman. So this is going to be the person that killed the culprit, which would be Yako, right? Who killed the culprit? That would be the hitman. Think the slaughter artist. This is Fubuki's forte. And here we can see that the Amapal, like, if it can't withstand high voltages, that would mean that it is conductive, wouldn't it? So that's why I said, it wouldn't matter how many times the culprit was fried to death, they would just be able to rely on Fubuki's forte to be able to bypass the security grid eventually. So it's cool that we get to see it in action right there. And this would be Yako. Hell of a chapter.
Step right up, step right up! Peacekeepers, a CEO, a research doctor, a hitman, and master detectives! 2 dead bodies, but lots of shady characters! Truth bombs are about to be dropped! Time for the deduction denouement!
The victim in this case is one Dr. Huesca. This incident features a sinister and meticulously detailed plot centered on the doctor.
The old geezer was holed up inside a lab at Amaterasu HQ. He was a total hermit in the critical lab, with a totally overkill security system.
The culprit made thorough preparations beforehand to break through that system.
Boom killing a shut-in is hard work. The humane thing to do is to reintroduce him to society first.
Yeah, with that out of the way. Posing as a hitman, the culprit sent a death threat to the Peacekeepers, the detective agency, and the research lab. At the same time, they contracted a real hitman and had him infiltrate the research facility.
They spilled the beans about Gramps being in danger to lure both the Peacekeepers and the detectives to the lab.
You see, the master detective's presence at the scene was an indispensable part of the plan. It was how the culprit gained access to the research facility, after all. The hitman infiltrated the lab exactly as planned. And we arrived with Mikoto at the same time.
around, blah blah blah, and Master got locked up by that Yomi guy.
I was rescued by Yasuhiko and the culprit, who were disguised as peacekeepers. With the real peacekeepers rushing around, the culprit took advantage of the turmoil to sneak into the lab. But after catching up with them, the power suddenly went out, separating the culprit from the rest of the group.
The blackout itself was caused by the hitman, right? And getting separated was all part of the culprit's plan.
Right. They used the blackout as an opportunity to hide in the vents in the airlock chamber. Afterwards, we headed to the critical lab to check on the doctor's condition, just like the culprit directed us. But since that lab used a separate power supply, nothing strange had happened.
His whole "the doctor's in danger" spiel was an act, huh? He made a fool of you, Master. What a dick!
Then, someone attacked the doctor while we were trying to talk with him over the intercom. We had to get into the doctor's lab.
At that time, the old geezer was playing games with us. And he even tried to kill you and the others with a trap! That bastard wanted to use your dead bodies! He really got you there, Master!
I don't see why you're so happy about it. The doctor's sham made the case even more confusing. Even if we tried to get to the doctor, the critical lab was guarded by tight security. The only way through was by using an amnesia. The culprit rode on it by emerging from their hiding place in the airlock vent and jumping onto the robot's head.
All aboard the Amapal Express! First stop, a shower of toxic gas! Humans can't protect themselves against the gas, but since it's not instantly fatal, it wasn't a problem. Next up, the panel chamber and high voltage shocks! One wrong move, and it was instant death! But thanks to that Sheldon skink, we got all the continues we could want. So, we managed a perfect clear! The critical lab was finally breached!
The culprit had anticipated we would get through this way. They also knew they would die over and over as a result. The camera feed was affected when the culprit jumped on. I should have realized what was happening.
No use crying over spilled blood. On to the next thing! Where were we? Oh yeah! To open the door to the doctor's lab, Amapal had to reach out its arm and hit a switch. And when the door opened wide enough for a person to squeeze through, the killer snuck inside.
Amapal can't follow any new commands while its arm is extended, so the culprit didn't show up on the camera.
Then, the culprit boom killed the old geezer using the same knife as the hitman. Grips was pretty much dead, so a backstab was easy peasy.
Then, the murderer tried to leave the room before Amapal entered. But they knocked the robot over on the way out.
They then went back into the airlock chamber vent to wait for you and the others to go by.
We entered the critical lab and found the doctor's body. The culprit used that time to get out of the vent and head for the hallway.
That was when they were found by the hitman. And stabbed.
They'd already been in contact with a toxic gas, so death was inevitable. However, dying by gas would expose them as the doctor's killer. So they hired the hitman to kill them, thereby concealing any involvement.
I'm a fucking dumbass, so that's why Yako was
I
stabbed.
guess that means the killer
To mask
completely
the
trusted
element
the
of him
master
being the
detective's
murderer
abilities.
behind the doctor. How did I not recognize that? Through all my deduction, I'm
They
just
knew
fucking
those
stupid, I
powers would Get
guess.
them close to the doctor. But why were they willing to die to hide the crime?
That's also what I want to know. What's the deal with this photograph? What's the ultimate truth here? What was the motive?
Was it his pride as a detective?
I'm sorry, I had it on
Simply
auto,
not
so
what
my
he's supposed
controller
to
made
know?
the system go dark. I'm sorry for that.
Whatever it may be, I'm prepared to face the truth.
I want to know what the motive is here. Why kill the doctor?
Who murdered Dr. Weska, and even included his
I'm
own
guessing it's
death in the
because the
plot.
woman that Yako loved was used in some sort of Amaterasu research. I don't know if it was purely for revenge or not.
It was you!
But I'm thinking that Yako wants to expose a greater truth within the Amaterasu research, and to do that he needs to get it to leak from the facility. But knowing the doctor was going to leave, that intel and research would have leaked anyway, but that's only if the doctor was able to successfully break out of Amaterasu. So maybe this was a way to confirm that that would happen.
Expose the truth!
I don't know what the deal is here. I want to see Yako's explanation of why he did this. I need to know why he did this.
But why, Chief Yako? Why? Why didn't you ever talk to us about this? Why did it have to end this way? Why didn't you tell us? Is this really what you wanted? Can you even hear me?
It doesn't matter who it is. Exterminating the real culprit's soul and destroying the mystery labyrinth. That's why I'm here. Surging bloodlust. Overflowing despair. The brilliant soul of Shinigami.
You know, I can't help but notice that this chapter didn't have the rush segment with the giant Shinigami in it. And I guess the reason for that is that the true culprit has no reason to mask why they did it. There's nothing to break through. There's no fortress to topple. I see. Wait, so instead of devouring his soul, she sent him to heaven. Is that what this is? Is that what that was meant to reflect? That was different than all the other kills for the other culprits.
Master's naivete must be rubbing off on me. I mean, not even I hated Fuzzhead. That's weird. This mystery labyrinth is falling apart slower than usual. I wonder why.
We shouldn't let our guards down yet. Do you really think we're done here?
Huh?
Do you have all of the fragments of truth that you sought?
Is this where Vivi is going to...
We could just leave, right?
No, we haven't uncovered everything yet. No.
This is
Still
different.
some mysteries remaining.
Huh? What's remaining? I reaped the culprit's soul already. I know it's slow, but this place is starting to come down.
Maybe it's not directly related to this case. I don't want to leave any questions unanswered. For Chief Yako's sake, please, help me, Shinigami.
Oh, fine. I can't say no to you, Master. You know I can't resist helping you when you rely on me. First, we need to reveal whatever mysteries are left. That should open up a new path. Lay it all out, Master.
Okay. No! Not the fucking dreaded barrel! God damn it! Just when I thought we were safe. Fuck.